Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and podcast, helping other people evolve. Boy, well, tonight you get me. I'm super excited to share a little bit with you about life, basically. For those of you that don't know why I started Hope, I started this project, podcast, just to help other people. I feel like there's so many people that are at home feeling like they're all alone in their struggles and they just don't think anybody else is going through struggles, right? And so the stories that I have on here, usually I interview people and they share their stories of a struggle that they've been through and a strength they've gotten to. We're still all going through the struggles. Some people go through struggles their whole life, but they figure out how to navigate and get through life still. And that's what this is about. Just maybe you'll hear a story that'll get you out of bed today and just get you on your way. So I thought tonight would be kind of fun to talk about last Wednesday, September 18th, I turned 59 years old. I am in my last year of my 50s. I just can't even hardly believe it because I feel like I'm in my 30s, but here I am, 59 years old. I guess I have to embrace it and just love it. I work out, I take care of myself, I eat healthy, I use a premium grade supplement. I feel really good. I feel like I'm in my 30s. So I thought tonight what I wanted to chat a little bit about is some things that I've learned in my 59 years of being on this planet Earth. Because I've learned a lot. I've been through a lot. I've struggled a lot. I've had good times. I've had bad times, just as everyone has. So there's not any plan here. It's just kind of like these are some things that I've been through. These are some of the things I've learned through life. And at a very young age, I was bullied a little bit as a kid. I was that kid with the freckles, a little bit of buck teeth, and at that time I thought it was a terribly high forehead, which now I embrace my high forehead. So life can change on you quick if you embrace the things. So I was picked on a lot, and I never felt like I fit in, and I was always trying to navigate to fit in. And I've learned as an adult and throughout my life that I don't have to change who I am to fit in. So that's something that I've really embraced in the last few years because up until I was probably in my early 50s, even, I was always trying to be the one to fit in somewhere. I go to different events with people and I would try to just like be a chameleon and fit in with them all, even though I wasn't being me, who I really was. I don't think that I knew at the time I wasn't being me. I feel like I was going through the motions of just trying to have friends and trying to fit in and trying to be part of the group. But throughout all those times that I was always trying to fit in and be part of the group, I was never really part of a group. I've always been kind of an outcast. Now, I don't know that I consider myself an outcast because I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of relationships. I have a lot of people that love me in my life, and I have a lot of people that I love in my life. But I'm not with like a certain group that goes out to dinner together, that does this together. I'm still kind of that little bit of an outcast, but now I'm okay with it. Before, it used to hurt my feelings. Like they'd be out and I'd see pictures and I'd be like, gosh, I wonder why I wasn't invited. And then they would run into me, they're like, oh, I didn't even think of, asking you. I figured you were busy or whatever. And so now I'm at the point that I'm okay with it. If I get invited to things, it's great. I show up, I have a great time, and I'm okay. If I don't get invited, that's okay too. I'm going to show up anyways. No, I'm just kidding. 100% kidding. That was funny. But no, I'm not going to show up. So I've learned in life that you don't have to be a part of everything all the time. We need to embrace who we are. And I've learned that, like I said, later in my life. At a very young age, many of you know, some of you don't. I lost my dad to alcoholism. I was only 13 years old. My little sister was only 8. My mom she was 32. She must have been like 32, I think. My dad was 34 when he passed. So she was either 32 or 34, but he drowned in our bathtub. And what a terrible thing to have happened in the morning when you're a 13-year-old. Well, it didn't matter what time of the day, but first thing to wake up in the morning to your mom screaming to call the neighbors. You don't know what's going on. You figure it's something with your dad because he had been very sick, but little did you know that you were going to come downstairs and see your dad gone in the bathtub. And I can remember to myself, wow, that happened so quick. He was gone like that. One night I'm talking to him, the next day he's gone. And I remember reflecting on that and thinking, excuse my language, fuck alcoholism. Sorry for my language there, but that's exactly what I thought. And addiction and abuse, because my dad was very abusive to my mom. And I remember thinking that, and I remember writing a poem, and I remember just saying how horrible alcohol was and what it was going to do to you. All it was going to do is you were going to either end up insane, dead, or in jail. And I wasn't having anything to do with it. Now, mind you, I was already partying at this time in my life. But I wasn't going to be that alcoholic. I wasn't going to do that, right? And so that was a little bit of a life lesson that I learned at an older age is, yeah, I messed around with alcohol. I messed around with drugs. Never really did I think I was going to become a full-fledged addict, alcoholic. But lo and behold, there I was. There I was, reading the poem, knowing what it was doing to me, looking in the mirror, taking shots of Listerine just to get out of my house. And it was something I wasn't going to do, but one day it grabbed me. And so my words of wisdom to people out there that think that addiction is not going to happen to you or to someone in your family, it'll grab you like this. I have many friends that not only alcohol, but alcohol, alcohol, I've learned this too, is it's not frowned upon. And that's unfortunate, I think. It's not frowned upon at all. It's out here everywhere you go. It's on commercials, it's on movies, it's on shows, it's acceptable, it's completely acceptable because it's legal. Because it's legal, so it's acceptable. But you don't look at the people that are dying every day from alcoholism. You don't look at the people that are dying in car accidents or killing other people in car accidents. I firsthand had lost my bonus son in a single car drinking and driving car accident. That wasn't his plan. It's not your plan. But what I've learned is alcoholism grabs you. Addiction grabs you. I know people that had never done anything in their life and ended up with opiates from a doctor and ended up being a heroin addict and ended up overdosing on fentanyl. Yeah, this is what I've learned in life. Don't think that you are the one that it's not going to happen to, because I was the one that said that at 13 years old. This isn't going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to be the alcoholic. Well, I was. So that was another life learning lesson, right? Like, whew, that was a big one, right? So here I am at almost 39 years old with my 15-year-old son, I'm ready to die, just like my father. And I can still look at a poem and say, that's what's going to happen, because that's what's going to happen. So 100%, I'm blessed that I'm still here. I'm blessed that I can help other people to recognize and know that, and maybe help them get through, help them get sober, live a better life. That's what I'm all about out here. So I've learned that lesson in life, like addiction, alcoholism. It doesn't go pick the people on the street. My stepdad used to be the biggest one to say that too. Like, an alcoholic's just a bum on the side of the street. Well, little did he know, it's not the bum on the side of the street. It's not. There's alcoholics all around us all day, every day. Some of us just function well. I was a very functioning alcoholic. I learned that too. I learned that some people are functioning alcoholics and people can't function at all, right? You see some people that take 2 drinks and you're like, good Lord, what happened to you? You've only had 2 drinks, but little do we know, they probably had more to drink before that. So that's what I've learned. Addiction doesn't discriminate. That's what I want to say. It doesn't discriminate. And nowadays, anybody out there using any type of drug, whether it's smoking weed, which is legal now too. I don't have anything against it. I'm not trying to judge anybody or anything like that. Like, that's what you do. That's what you do. I know many people that smoke pot. They're the happiest people in the world. But what we have to know now is things are laced, okay, with fentanyl. And I'm bringing a mom on here Hopefully we've been playing a little bit of tag on emails, but she lost her 21-year-old son to a accidental fentanyl overdose. And I'm going to be interviewing her soon. I interviewed my friend Donna, my best friend Josh, who took a Percocet and it was fentanyl. So I've learned in the last few years that it doesn't matter what it is, it could be laced with fentanyl, whether it's cocaine, whether it's heroin, whether it's meth, whether it's crack, whether it's marijuana. It's all over the place. So just be careful out there. If you are a drug user, I guess try to figure out how to test your drugs. I don't know, but I have learned that. Like, that doesn't discriminate. Fentanyl does not discriminate. If you're out, you have a backache or something, and you can't get a prescription from a doctor, and you say to one of your friends, "Hey, I know that you can get that for me. Go get it for me," and they get it for you, and guess what? It's laced with fentanyl, and you're gone. And there goes your family having to suffer and trying to figure out how to navigate through life. So that's what I've learned. Like, don't trust any kind of drug. Okay, those are a couple lessons I've learned. One lesson that I've learned the hard way, like I talked about my dad, losing him at such a young age, is, man, we all go someday. Sometimes way before. Well, that was quick. I'm dog sitting, so excuse that interruption. Hopefully that got y'all awake there. Those that aren't watching on YouTube, I'm dog sitting for my son, and Zoe just walked across the court and almost knocked the whole thing over. So anyways, we're back. It's okay, Zoe, you go lay down. Anyways, sorry about that. So that kind of broke it up a little bit. What I've learned is that, man, life is short, okay? Life is so short. Quit taking things so seriously. I guess that's my best way of saying it. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We don't know what the next moment's going to bring. We don't know what the next 45 minutes or 45 seconds is going to bring us. You could get that phone call that changes your life, or something could happen to you that changes your life. Many of you know, some of you don't know my story, but in 1992, on December 11th, I walked into my 6.5-month-old baby's room, and he was blue, and I couldn't revive him. The worst nightmare that any parent could have to go through is losing a child, whether they're a baby, whether they're an adult, whether they're a teenager, even when they're not born yet. It's the hardest thing to go through. I have memories of a little 6.5-month-old that I hang on to, him crawling, his brother telling him not to eat the electrical cord. No, Zoe, don't eat. Don't. Sorry. So that can happen in an instant. So I just try to live my best life every day. I try to be happy every day. I wake up grateful every day. Is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard some days to know that if I would have walked in his room maybe 10 minutes earlier, I could have saved him, but that wasn't God's plan. And I'm a big believer, and I have complete faith that God knows what he's doing in everything. Losing my son at such a young age, and I was at such a young age, really taught me a lot more in life. I wouldn't be who I am today if I wouldn't have lost him. Of course, I wish that I wouldn't have lost him. I think about it all the time. He would have been 32 years old this year. And I think about, what would he have been like, right? What kind of man would he have been? Would he have been like Chad? Would he have been the opposite of Chad? I don't know, and I'll never know. All I can hold on to is those little memories that I have. And so throughout that, I live my life daily the best that I can. I work at a golf course, and I had a guy come in today, and he said something that really meant a lot to me, because I think of this way too. He was buying a round of drinks for everybody, and I don't know what it came to, like $28. And one guy's like, $28. And I was thinking, that's really cheap for a golf course, but okay, we're pretty exclusive, we're pretty nice golf course. But anyways, and the guy looked at him and he said, I can't take it with me. So what does it matter? He's like, he's like, And so him and I were having a little conversation with like that. I'm like, I agree with you, right? I have a nice cushion, but I can't take it with me, right? And something happens to me. I have life insurance for Chad. Um, he doesn't really need it because he does fine himself. But and that guy said, he's like, I have friends that say this, and this is something that I learned today. That say, well, I'm keeping it so my kids can have it. I'm keeping it so my kids can have it. He's like, these kids are 50 years old and 45 years old. If they haven't gotten life figured out and they're waiting for their parents to pass so they can have the money instead of them going on vacations and enjoying life, no, that's not the way it's supposed to work. Yes, we love our kids, but we raise our kids to be adults. We raise our kids to be responsible. We raise our kids so we don't have to take care of them anymore, right? There's instances, of course, that we have to help our children, but I've learned that that's not what I was here for. I'm not here to make sure and hold Chad's hand, right? Sometimes I try to hold his hand and he's like, Mom, I am a man. And I'm like, I know, and I've learned, I've backed off a lot. So I've learned that, right? Like, I can't take my money with me. I want to enjoy my life while I'm here, while I'm able. You see me, I work out. I love working out. And I think it keeps me healthier. And I think it keeps me stronger. And I think it keeps my bones healthier and all of that because I watched my mom not. And I watched her just lay there. And I don't want to live life like that. I want to live life. I want to vacation. I want to own an RV and travel. I want to be doing book signings all over the United States. I want to do these things. And I've learned that if I hold on to, well, I got to save this so that Chad can have it, or I got to save this to make sure that he's okay, and I don't enjoy my life, then shame on me. Then God's like, that wasn't your purpose. That's not what you're here for. You're here to have your kids. You are here to raise your kids. You're to raise your kids to be respectable adults, which that's what we were all supposed to do, right? And I'm blessed 100%. I am 100% blessed. I always said when Chad was growing up, I wasn't going to let him be a statistic. That was my heart. That was what I wanted. And I didn't want him to be a statistic. I spoiled him. Yes, I spoiled him as much as I possibly could. I worked a lot, so I tried to spoil him as much as I could. But I always taught him respect. And that's something that people need to learn, respect, period. So those are some of the things that I've learned about that. Like, I can't take my money with me. I'm going to enjoy it and love life. When I say that, yes, we have to take care of our kids sometimes, yes, we do. They are our kids. We are the ones that had them, and they are, that's what we do. We just had with Chad with that incident just not too long ago. Actually, it was exactly, let's see, May, June, July, August, September, exactly 5 months ago today when my phone was blowing up in the morning and I got a picture of Chad's eye that looked like he had something, cellulitis or something in it. And the next phone call was, they're keeping me in the hospital overnight. The next is they're putting me in ICU for a few days to, we have to do life or death surgery. He could lose his eye. And yes, I needed to be there for my son. And yes, that is what a parent's there for, right? And I know that if it was me, I don't have any parents left, but if it was me, I know Chad would be there for me. And so I've learned in life that yes, we need to be there for people. We need people to know that they can depend on us. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be your kids or your family. People know me that if they call me, I'm going to do whatever I can to help if I can. If I am able, I will come pick you up and take you wherever you need to go if your car is broke down. I have a friend of mine, she'll attest to that. I just did that with her and her kids, and I will do that. And I am that person. So what I've learned is, yes, live my life the best that I can for myself also, and love life and enjoy it. Do the things. Go take the trip. It's not going to hurt you if you take $2,000 and go on that trip that you're going to make memories and you're going to love instead of hanging on to that $2,000 just in case when you pass away, your kids need it. If you pass away, then hopefully your kids know how to live life and take care of themselves. Okay, that's what I've learned there. I've learned at a young age to not smoke. No, don't smoke cigarettes. They're not good for you. I've had people in my family die from lung cancer. I'm blessed 100%. I started smoking when I was 11 years old, was when I took my first puff off a cigarette. I probably started smoking full force when I was 13, after my dad died. And then it just continued and continued and continued. And by the time I quit, I was smoking 2 packs a day, a pack and a half to 2.5 packs, depending on how much I was drinking. I was coughing like a fool. I am pretty sure my son thought I was dying every morning because I hacked so bad and I hacked up stuff, but that didn't stop me until one day I ran down the hill to get my pack of cigarettes out of my truck, and I ran back up the hill. It was February. I couldn't breathe, and I was 32 years old, and I thought, good Lord, I'm going to die from smoking, and I quit 2 weeks later. So that's something. Just don't smoke. Just don't. It's gross. It stinks, and you should just quit. That's what I think. You can, and you can do it because I did it, and I know if I can do it, you can do it. Pack and a half, 2 packs a day, and I quit smoking before I quit drinking, which is amazing. So there's that. Smoking is not good for you. Chew is not good for you. Just try to stay away from all of it. I know people vape nowadays, and people vape nowadays. If you see me looking down on this YouTube, it's because Zoe keeps walking over the court instead of walking the other way. She's so cute. I'm going to show you her. Here she is. Oh, she went the wrong way. Wait, where'd she go? Oh, there she is. Wait, there she is. There's Zoe. Say hi. Hi, Zozo. She's a good girl. Anyways, back to me. Hi. So that's what I've learned about smoking. You can quit. You can quit anything that you put your mind to. That's what I've learned in life. I have learned in life for sure that our mind is 100% controllable. Either we let it control us or we learn how to control it. Now, I watched a video today and it made complete sense to me. It was a guy getting ready. He must have been a football player. And he's getting ready to lift this heavy weight. And he's trying, and the coach is like, don't let it deter you. Don't let it deter you. And he just couldn't lift it. And he's like, man, I'm tired. And the coach is like, step out of that right now. It was one of those, I can't remember what they call them, but you stand in the middle and then you do deadlifts. And the coach was like, get out of there right now. He's like, you have got to change your mindset. You cannot try to lift that up with the mindset going in there that you're tired. You go in with the mindset that you're tired. You've already defeated yourself. You've already been defeated. You've got to change your mindset. And I have learned so much about my mindset and changing it and learning that. Like, there's days that I don't want to go to the gym, and I know it, and I can talk myself right out of it, but I talk myself right into it. And I'm like, no, you're going to get to that gym and you're going to do the best that you can. Today, I ran around, worked, got home, took the dog out, fed her, and I was like, I have to be at the gym at 4:30. I was going to Hot Pilates. I was meeting my friend Neil's there. And I could have easily said, you know what, I'm not going to go. I didn't really feel like it. But I said, you know what, I'm going to go kick that Hot Pilates butt. And I literally kicked Hot Pilates butt, and Hot Pilates kicked my butt. But I showed up. So what I've learned is we have got to control our mind, period. That's it. That's it. We are the ones that get to tell ourselves we're beautiful. We're the ones that get to tell ourselves we're handsome if we're a man. We're the ones that get to tell ourselves you got a nice smile, or you get to tell yourself you don't. You can look in the mirror and say, Jesus, you're ugly. You can do that, and you're going to feel ugly. Or you can look in the mirror and say, damn, I do look good. Damn, it's a nice smile. Those freckles aren't so bad, right? Those are the things that we have to tell ourselves, and that's all part of our mindset. I've talked about this many times. Would you sit next to yourself on a bench and say some of the things that you've said to yourself? No. I've said some very mean things to myself, and I've had to correct myself because of it. Why? Because that's what I was embedded in my brain. I've been married. I was married once. That he's not the father of my children. And he wasn't physically abusive at all, ever. But mentally he was. You're no good. You're not pretty. Nobody's going to love you. You're ugly. You don't even have any brains. Just all the things. And I believed it. And I believed it for a long time. I didn't know my worth. I didn't know my value, because that's what was embedded in my brain. And when you hear it over and over and over and over again, that's what you believe. So you have to reprogram your brain, which you can do. There's scientific proof you can reprogram your brain to know that, no, I'm not ugly. I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. I'm not gross. Someone will love me one day. People do love me today. Um, but I had to fix all that because that's what I thought. When I got out of that relationship, and I'll never forget looking in my bathroom mirror one day before I left him, and I was like, why are you letting him do this to you? You're not that ugly. Now, I said you're not that ugly because I still thought I was ugly. And you're not dumb. I know you're not dumb. And I left that relationship. Well, I didn't heal myself before I went into the next relationship. So let's talk about that a little bit. How about we learn that we have to heal ourselves? We have to heal what's hurt us, what's broken us, what's made us who we are. Because if we don't heal it, we're just going to end up in the same place we were. Same relationship, different person. People don't believe it all the time, but it's really true. You start attracting the same kind of people. So I hadn't healed at all. I didn't work on my self-esteem. I didn't work on my self-worth. I was a kid. I got married at 18 years old. And I think I left him, I want to say when I was 21, maybe 21. So I was just a baby. I didn't even know anything. And I left him with no self-worth. And I had to learn the hard way, a really hard way, to value myself. And I really didn't start valuing myself until the last probably 8 years. It was a lot of work, a lot of internal work, a lot of self-love, self-care, a lot of mirror talks. But what my point of this one is another thing in my 59 years that I've learned is heal yourself from what hurts you. Find out why you're attracting the same kind of things, whether it's people, jobs, whatever you're doing. Why are you attracting the same thing and miserable? And it's not because of them. It's really not. That's a hard one to swallow, right? It's not them, it's you. It's what are you allowing? I went right into the relationship with the boy's dad, and I'd known him for years, and I knew what kind of man he was. I knew that he had just gotten out of federal prison, no, state prison, I'm sorry. I knew that he had just gotten out for the second time at a young age of probably 22. He was the first boy actually to go to a state prison in Michigan at 17 years old. He was the very first one. It was right after they passed that law. And he went in so in my defense, I was like, well, it was only for car theft. He only stole 5 of them, right? That's all. That's the only reason why I went to prison. He didn't hurt anybody. And the next time he went to prison, he didn't hurt anybody either. He just told me he was taking a case of beer after hours and he was on parole. So anyways, so I attracted him, right? Because why? Because he knew I had a low self-esteem. He was going to be able to gaslight me. He was going to be able to take control of me. And he did very, very quickly. And in my head, it wasn't like that because in my head, I was going to change him. So that's another lesson I learned in life. Guess what? You can't change anybody but yourself. Plain and simple. That is one of the greatest lessons I've learned because I tried to change that man for many years, many, many, many years, many black eyes, many busted lips, many head slammed against walls, many cars taken, so much money taken. I learned the really hard way. And I finally was able to break free from him. I'd like to say it was me and my strong will, but honestly, I left him and he would still call me and he would tell me, you're going to amount to nothing. You are nothing. Even though I knew I was something because I was one that took care of everything. I'm going to take Chad from you. All the things that they say once you're beat down and you think and you go back to them because you just think that you have to and you can't get any better. But fortunately, I was in another relationship, which again, I didn't heal, right? And he, unfortunately for him and his kids, he went to prison for a long time, about 15 years. This was after we were split up. So, but I didn't heal myself again. So where did I end up? In another relationship. Now this relationship was more just partying and drinking. never physically abusive, probably a little bit mental. He just drank a lot. He partied a lot. He wasn't a bad guy, but he partied a lot. And I was finally done with that. And I said, nope, I'm done. And I moved my son and I off, and off we went, and just to another city. And that was a long time ago. That was way back in 1998, 97, 98. And that was the last really true serious relationship I was in. So what I have done now is I have worked on Tammy Lynn Connors. It was another learning lesson, right? I can't change anybody. I loved his family, and so I was super close to them, so that was hard, but I stayed in contact because unfortunately for him, he was locked up, but I was able to still be with the family. So that was another lesson I learned. You can't change anybody, you can change yourself. Now, back to then, once again, I still have a low self-esteem. All I'm trying to do now is basically work to take care of my son. I was blessed to have his grandparents on both sides help with him. And I worked all the time. I worked 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I drank all the time. I would drink 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I was a very functioning alcoholic. Throughout my drinking career, as I called it, wasn't all bad. So I can't sit here and say that my alcoholism was the worst in the entire world. I hear all kinds of stories that were way worse than mine. Yes, I almost died. Yes, I could have died many times when I talk about drinking and driving. Yes, I did, and not anything I'm proud of. I finally got it together. I finally, in 2004, when I almost died, when I weighed 85 pounds, my cheeks were sunken. My eyes were yellow from jaundice. I had pancreatitis 3 times. My liver was failing, and I was pretty much ready to be gone, dead. I actually, a friend of mine, Amy, she said to me not too long ago, we were talking, and she's like, I remember running into you at the gas station right before you quit drinking. And I went home and I told Mike, Tammy's doesn't look good. She's probably going to die soon. And, people tell me this now, and I didn't look good, and I was ready to die. And I learned from my dad that I didn't want to do that to my son. So if you're out here and your life is all about addiction, whether it's alcoholism, drugs, or anything like that, and you have family, they say we quit for ourselves. Well, I learned that I quit for my son. I quit for Chad because I didn't want Chad to find me like I found my dad. And that was a lesson I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way seeing my father's dead body in a bathtub and my mom bawling over this man that used to beat her, but she loved him so much. And I was not going to have that happen to me, my son. I wasn't going to have him find me like that. And I quit. And when I say I quit cold turkey. I got on my knees, I prayed, I screamed, I yelled at God that I need you. And I learned that day, that is the day that I knew that I will always have complete faith in God. So I always say on here, whatever it is you believe, you believe. I believe 100% God saved my life that day on March 9th of 2004. He said, Tammy, I know you're serious right now, and I'm going to tell you this. I've put people in your life that will help you right now. Find them, call them, ask them for help. Was that phone heavy? Yeah, that phone weighed 10,000 pounds. I learned that day. That's a lesson that everybody learns. Man, you pick up a phone, we're just going to say this is the phone, and it's only this little thing, right? Just to put up to your ear. It weighs so much, and it's like this. Oh my gosh, I can't pick it up to my ear. It's too hard to ask for help. It's not too hard to ask for help. Ask for help. There's people out there that will help you. I had the best support system I could have ever asked for that God put in my life. And I am so blessed because of that. And those people still mean everything in the world to me. I love them all so much. And I thank them every year on my sobriety date. They get a message. Thank you. I love you. Some will ask, why does she thank me every year? Because you saved my life. I have a boss that fired me. I message him every year. Thank you, Eric. He's always like, he asks his wife, why does she message me? She's like, you saved her life. If you wouldn't have fired me, I might have died soon. So that was my life lesson there. You don't have to quit for you. I mean, people are going to argue with me about it. Whatever. I quit for my son. That's why I quit. And I was able to do it. Now, mind you, 2 days before I quit, my blood alcohol was 0.399. I was rushed to the hospital. I was IV'd, hydrated, don't drink anymore. I continued to drink the next day. I'm sure it was probably over 0.399. I detoxed on my own. I don't recommend that. I talk to doctors now. They're like, girl, you don't know how lucky you are to be alive. And I'm like, by the grace of God, because he had a purpose for my life. Now, 20 years forward, I've learned a lot in those 20 years, right? A lot, a lot, a lot. I've been through it. Again, I've lost people. I've lost people close to me. I lost my bonus son, like I said, in a single car drinking and driving accident. Me going back to drinking again would have done nobody any good. Nobody. Me, not anybody. I know this about alcoholism. If I pick up a drink, I'm going to be right back where I was 20 and a half years ago. And I am not ever going to go there. So something I learned, and I tell this all the time to people, here's another little thing I've learned. Hope you guys are liking my learning. I hope that maybe it's helping you to learn a few things. I don't know. It's just kind of what I wanted to do tonight. Is if you are going through something, whatever it is, I mean, there's all kinds of things that we go through addiction wise and everything like that. And you quit, do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Never, ever forget, why you quit. Never forget it. I can remember in my head, and I personally remember this. I remember the yellow bile. I know it sounds disgusting, but I remember the yellow bile. I puked every single day, all day long. Even when I was like this and I'd get that first drink, I would still a half hour later start puking because I was detoxing all the time. I had to completely be filled with alcohol. And I remember that. I remember the pain I was in. I remember all of that, and I'll never forget how sick I was and how my son even saw me sick like that. And so that's a big lesson that I've learned, is never forget why you left something that was bad for you. That's a good way to put it, right? Whether maybe it was a toxic relationship that you finally broke free from, and you forget, and then you go on to the next one. Because why? Because you didn't go get some help. Something else I've learned in life, in my 59 lovely years of life, is it's okay to go to a counselor. It's really okay. Don't let anybody tell you that you're crazy because you're going to go talk to somebody, or don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't tell people your problems. You shouldn't tell anybody. Shh. It's our family secret. Bullshit. I love my mom with all my heart. My mom was one of those people like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say? Oh my gosh, what will they think? I don't care anymore because I have to worry about me. I don't care what my neighbors think about the way that I am going to see a counselor, or that something happened that I need to go see a counselor. No, you don't hide that stuff. I feel like that's part of what's wrong with our entire world, is everything was pushed underneath the rugs. We see things coming out now, right? Things are pushed under the rugs, pushed under the rugs. Don't tell, don't tell, don't tell. Well, you need to go see a counselor, and do tell. Those counselors are there to help you. They're there to give you tools to get through life. This life isn't easy. We know that, right? And so my biggest thing right there is go talk to someone. Sometimes all you just need to do is talk to someone. And if it's not a counselor, find someone that you know that is a good friend of yours that you can trust 100%, will give you the advice that maybe you want to hear or you don't want to hear. 100% will never judge you, and 100% just is there to listen. I called a friend of mine today and I said, hey, her name's Adrienne, and she's such a good friend of mine, and I just love her. And I said, hey, this is Tammy, your friend, the one that sometimes I call you with something I got going on, and you never judge me or think I'm crazy, and you still just love me. And she's like, okay, go ahead, spill the beans, right? And I know that conversation was between the two of us, and that's where it's at. So find those people, get a counselor, do it. It's okay. I've learned that. Let's see. There was something I thought about there. Oh, This is something I've learned. And I learned this kind of the hard way too, because I used to watch a lot of TV. I watched the news, right? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. All of that. If you can not watch the news, don't watch the news. It was probably, let's see, 2020. So it was probably about 2018, I want to say. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna really watch TV anymore. I like to watch The Voice and a couple things like that, but I'm not really gonna tune in much. Football, I like football, college football, and NFL. Go Blue and Go Lions. But I was just gonna watch, like, The Voice and different shows like that, because the news is very depressing. The news gets everybody in an uproar. So 2018, 19, I didn't watch the news. Well, 2020 comes, right? And we're all locked in our houses, and all that's on is the news. And I kept the TV on. I'll never forget this moment. And this is why I can say this is something that I learned about TV and the news. I'll never forget this moment. I was laying on the couch at my house. My mom was in her room, and I was watching, I don't know, Wine with DeWine, they called it, the governor of our state, and they would call it Wine with DeWine at noon or whatever. And I was watching it, and then I was watching all the other ABC and watching this news and watching this news. And the next thing I knew, I was depressed. I was laying on the couch and didn't want to do anything. I was so sad. All I did was lay there. I was like, good Lord, what is happening right now? I had lost my friend Josh right before that on Valentine's Day. And I was just laying there, and I was like, shut that TV off. This is a conversation I have with myself. It's okay to have conversations with yourself. Shut the TV off, get some shoes on, and get out there and go for a run, because people say that running is great. I don't find it all that great, but I did. And then I said, you will not watch the news anymore. And I stopped watching the news. I stopped watching TV again. Then you know what I did? I planned a Zoom. It was a dancing Zoom, because I love to dance. So it was at 8 o'clock, like on a Thursday night. I got a bunch of songs together, got on my tutu. We danced. We had so much fun. I turned it all around. So one thing I have learned for sure is don't watch the news. Keep your life positive. If you think you got to find out things, you can find out enough information by tuning in for a minute or talking to someone, and you can get enough to know what's going on in the world, and that's enough. That's all you need to know, because otherwise it just all goes in your head again, right? Like I was talking about, you're ugly, you're worthless. That goes in your head, right? This world's crazy. This world's crazy. This world's crazy. Killings, killings, killings. What about the love that's out there? We don't see that. They don't show us that. There's so much love out there. There's so much goodness. There's so much kindness out there. We don't see it. Because why? The news isn't going to show us. But your news feed on Facebook or your social media can show it, if that's what you look for. If you scroll right on by all the negative shit, if you scroll by all the stuff, you can see all the positive. I promise you. Don't get yourself into these little holes of that drains you down, because it is sad, and it's a lot what we see. But your life can be better if you don't watch the news. So I've learned that. One thing I've learned, which I had to learn after I quit drinking, is you can dance without being drunk. That was a big thing for me. When I got sober, I love dancing. I love being around people. I'm a social butterfly, always have been. And when I quit drinking, I remember the first year after I quit, probably not a smart thing to do. So don't do the things that I said sometimes. But I remember I was like, yeah, I'll be the DD for the regatta at Riverview Yacht Club, which I used to go to and get smashed at. So I had my friends are all going to drink. I'm going to drive. And I remember I stood at that regatta and I was like, this was the stupidest thing I could have done. This is so boring. I'm just standing here. Everybody's partying, having a good time. And I was sitting on my little pity party pot. Because why? Because I wasn't dancing. I wasn't having fun. Everybody else was. But Tammy wasn't. She was just standing here. I'll never do that again. And I left, took my friends home, and was like, boo-hoo, that was no fun. And then a little later, as I'm working on myself a little bit, I recall saying, you know what? You know why I didn't have any fun at that regatta? Because I chose not to. That's why. That's something, right? It's not because they were dancing and drinking and having fun. I can dance and have fun without drinking. So that's what I learned. That was my life lesson that I learned. And I try to inspire people to do this all the time. I'm like, you don't have to be drunk to dance. Okay, maybe you need one beer just to loosen up a little bit. I don't know. That might be you. But I learned I didn't have to have 3 beers and 4 shots in order to dance and to have fun. Now, if you guys know me and you follow me on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, I dance all the time. I go out dancing. I was out this Friday, Saturday last week. Like I said, was my birthday. On Friday night, I got to go to the zoo to do here in Toledo, which is a big event. And my favorite band was playing, and I danced for 3 hours straight. I had so much fun. And I actually had a friend of mine come up to me. And it was kind of funny because you think that people know and you think that people watch you and see your social media and all that. And he had 2 drinks in his hand, and we were chatting a little bit. I was dancing. He was still chatting, but I was dancing. And he handed me his drink. He's like, "Here, you want a drink?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's alcohol, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I don't drink." He's like, "What? You don't drink?" I'm like, "No, I haven't had a drink in 20 and a half years." He said, "Not even one sip?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Not even one drink." I'm like, "No, I have been sober since March 9th of 2004." And he's like, "Oh, well, and you're just out here having fun." And I'm like, "Yep, that's exactly it." Um, so he went and got me a water. He's like, "Here's a water for you, and it's with love." I said, "Thank you so much." So, anyways, so dance in the rain, run, scream, yell, have fun, enjoy your life. It's your life. Yeah, people might think I'm silly because I'm out there dancing. I get on the dance floor by myself. I don't need anybody else out there because when I'm on that dance floor, I'm in my own little zone and I'm just having a good old time. And some people love it, some people don't. It doesn't matter to me. I love it and it makes me feel good. So dance like nobody's watching. I know there's a quote out there that says it. It's been out there for a long time. I didn't invent that quote, but I live by that quote. Dance like nobody's watching because honestly, they're not really watching, honestly. And if you're out there dancing and having fun, and they're judging you, then shame on them. Tell them to get off their ass and go dance too. Don't judge somebody that's up there having fun. So that's what I've learned in life. So we've learned a lot of lessons here, right? I've learned that life is short. You don't know when you're leaving, right? Life can change in an instant. Chad was a perfect example of that, right? I almost lost him to a little cut on his eye that turned into a flesh eating bacteria. And thank God in heaven for all the prayers. And it wasn't his time. Thank God. So life can change in an instant. Be you. It's okay. Be you. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't be a chameleon trying to fit in. Don't change who you are to fit in anywhere. Don't change who you are for anybody. Be who you are. If they don't like you or love you for who you are, then they don't need to be with you. You're the one that you're you. Just be you. Um, and I want to, that's something else I want to add a little bit too. But you can quit anything if you put your mind to it. 100%. I don't care. You can use every excuse in the world. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. I promise you. I'm a perfect example of it. I was a alcoholic. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. I quit because why? I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I put my mind to it, and I never picked up again, ever. I never picked up another cigarette after February 13th of 1998, and I never picked up another drink after March 9th of 2004. I'm full-fledged alcoholic addict. Listen, I know where I was going into my grave. So if I can quit that, anybody can quit anything. You just got to put your mind to it and you got to get the tools to get through the things when you go through those struggles because they're going to happen. I 100% have faith in God and I know that He helps me, He carries me, He walks with me. Let's see. So those are some of the things that we learned. There was one thing that I thought of, and can we do this? Ladies, mostly, I'm sure there's a few guys out there too. Could we please get rid of the filters? Stop filtering yourself. This is what I've learned through the filtering. I've ran into people that I've known for years, and I've seen their Facebook or their Instagram or their Snapchat, and I'm like, man, they're really, really good, right? And then I run into them in real life, and I'm like, not that they look bad, but they don't have, they don't have that wrinkle there or that wrinkle there or this little crow's feet that I got going on here. I don't think I have too bad crow's feet though. But I do have my smile wrinkles here. That's what I call them. It's from smiling so much. But just stop with filters, honestly. It doesn't help you. I remember Chad and I, we were downtown one time and a friend of mine walked up to me and we were talking a little bit and I just kind of was looking at her like, ah, you look nothing like your Facebook. And so she walked away and I pulled up her picture on Facebook and I showed it to Chad. He's like, who's that? And I was like, that's who we were just talking to. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. He's like, oh my God, these filters. Why? Just be you. Look at yourself and tell yourself you're beautiful. Stop picking yourself apart. God made us all exactly how He wanted us to be made. Embrace it. Love it. Perfectly imperfect. You are enough. Your face is beautiful. Your eyes look so good. You would cover all this stuff up. And it's just not good. I've embraced this gray hair. Some people think I got blonde hair. It's not, it's gray. It's my natural white hair. Thank God I have it. I'm not complaining about it. I've never complained about it. I will never complain about it. If I do, I think God should hit me with a bolt of lightning because shame on me. But I had to embrace it, right? I had to grow it out. It wasn't any fun. I was listening to the noise. People like, I can't believe you're growing that out. Look at how terrible it's looking. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't care because I needed it for me. Now, I've had 3 people in the last year come up to me that I never met in life, only on social media. We were friends. And they came up to me and they said my name. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we're friends on social media. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you look exactly like your profile picture. You look exactly like what you do when you're out dancing. I'm like, because I don't use filters. I don't use filters. It's just not my thing. So stop using the filters so we really know who you are and embrace who you are. That's it. So I guess that's about all I got. Help people when you can. The world's not so bad. We can be kind. There's so much goodness out there in the world. Just you got to go find it. It's not going to find you. All the negativity is going to find you. It always does. It's easier to track negativity and then it drains you. And then the next thing you know, you're in bed and you don't want to get up because you're sad and you're mad and everything else. Oh, one other thing I've learned in life, but don't procrastinate. I'm a procrastinator. I've been working on it and I'm going to work on it for probably a long time, but I'm getting better at it. And the other thing that I told you too is make sure whatever maybe relationship you were in or whatever trauma you've been through in life, get some help before you end up with somebody that's going to treat you just like that again. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in to Hope. I know this was a long episode. I hope I gave you some good insight. I hope it made you laugh a little bit when the phone almost fell over. Zoe's in here whining at me. I'm grateful to be able to help my son out with her. I got new adventures coming. I got my book coming out and just excited about everything in life. And I just can't wait to share it all with all of you. I appreciate you being part of my podcast, part of my YouTube channel. Subscribe to everything if you could. Share it with your friends. I know somebody will need to hear some of these life things that I've learned in my 59 years of life. Have fun. Enjoy life. It's short. We never know when it's going to end or when something could change. So enjoy it. Love your people. Love your people because you don't know. I hope you all have an amazing day. Don't forget to tell someone that you love them. Don't forget to tell someone how you feel about them. Don't forget to stop somebody that you don't know and just tell them, I hope you have a good day. People need that. You guys take care. Love you all. And we will see you soon.